to that.
I think you're downplaying the seriousness of the moment, man. Yeah, like I said, looking at hindsight, it's fine to say, yeah, he just got knocked out. Looking at hindsight,
in the moment, I was telling you that I didn't see anything that called for what they were doing. I was telling you that in the moment, and I wasn't even there. I was watching it on TV.
You was the only one saying that, though.
I know, which is why my mind is so blown right now, because I'm like, am I in the Twilight Zone?
Yeah, you gotta be, because I don't understand how you didn't see what everybody else was seeing, dog.
He got knocked out. Bro, I've seen that dozens of times, players get knocked out on the field. You've seen it dozens of times. Anybody who watches the NFL has seen a play. Let's talk about Maurice Norris. Last night, the game ended in the fourth quarter. Maurice Norris took a bad angle on a tackle, bounced off of the runner. His neck snapped back, and within seconds, body froze up, unconscious, out on the field. Everybody took a knee. Medical came out. They got him on a stretcher. They got him in the ambulance. They took him out of there. Not even the thumbs up to the crowd on his way out. None of that. So it was a very somber moment in the game. And after it happened, the Dan Campbell and Raheem Morris got together, and they agreed that there was no reason to finish. They attempted to essentially just run the clock out on one play, and then I think for gambling purposes, the NFL and the officials stepped in and just called the game with like 6 or 7 minutes left in the game. I did my research and come to find out that I thought this was an unprecedented moment, but come to find out just 2 years ago, 2023, 2 games in consecutive weeks were stopped in a similar fashion after he got injured in both of those games. I guess my biggest takeaway. Praise God, Maurice Norris seemingly in stable condition. They said he's got movement in his extremities. He's conscious. He's talking. So all good news coming out.
First thing Dan Campbell said in the press conference is he's breathing. So that's a scary thought. But yeah,
but watching it, that was where my mind went. In order for them to stop the game, is he not breathing? With Damar Hamlin, they were very quick to report that the medical staff had brought out the defibrillator. So when you hear the defibrillator, it's a serious thing. But nobody was really saying anything about defibrillator. The player, when Damar Hamlin situation happened, players were visibly distraught. People were crying. People were holding each other. It was a very traumatic scene. I didn't see that in this game last night. Everybody took a knee. It was a somber moment. But once they called the game, guys was dapping it up, laughing with each other. And that kind of made me feel better about the severity of the situation, because had it been a Damar Hamlin situation, I don't think you would have seen those players dapping it up or joking or laughing, walking off the field. So it just brings me to my question. And we talked about it, but I'll let you go ahead and just make it public. How do you feel about this stoppage of play due to severe injuries?
Well, I know you were a little more upset about it yesterday, and like I said, like I told you, I would have been right there with you if it was a regular season game. But for me, uh, it's a preseason game. You can see Dan Campbell was visibly upset. He cried halfway through the whole press conference, answering a question about the guy. And the interview I saw, they cut it off before it got to the end. But you said somebody tried to ask him a question about the rest of the game, and he walked off. Yeah, so he was visibly upset. He was crying. You know, Dan Campbell gets emotional about his guys as players. Um, but it's essentially a preseason game, and in that moment, I didn't see the play live, but you sent me a replay of that actual play, and when he ran in and hit the guy, his body went limp, lifeless like, and the first thing I thought was that guy might be paralyzed. So that's what was going through my mind as as the players were standing on the field waiting for the. And now I do agree with you on that. Them standing there for 7-8 minutes was stupid. You know what I'm saying? Just stop the clock, have them go on the sideline, delay the game until you make a decision, or you know what I'm saying, whatever. But having them stand there with the clock running didn't make any sense at all. But yeah, but that's what was going through my mind. Like, dang man, that guy might be paralyzed. And then, you know, in the moment, you know, looking back at things, hindsight is always easier. But in the moment, you don't know what's going on with a guy. And to me, something had to be seen on the field, just like what from what I saw on the TV screen. Some of the medical staff had to see something in person that spooked them to the core, to that point where they're like, man, this guy's seriously hurt. And they relayed that to the coach, and the coaches decided that they didn't need to carry on. And in that situation, I can understand, especially with a preseason game, and especially for the Lions, who've had an extra preseason game. Plus, everybody that we wanted to see had already played. We saw Ratledge, we saw Tyleek, we saw Hassanin, we saw Tesla. We even saw Hendon Hooker. You know what I'm saying? All the people we wanted to see out there, we got a good, a nice sample size of it, and it was just the third quarter. So
I'm gonna try not to sound like an asshole, but the stance that I'm gonna take is just gonna de facto put me in the asshole position, which is fine.
Total lie.
I just gotta go. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it out there. The first thing is, where do we draw the line? That's maybe that's what's wrong with my mind, is because I like to push the envelope. I like to get right up to the edge. I like to know all the rules. I heard somebody tell me, "Hey, just tell me the rules and I'll play the game." Somebody told me that. I like that. What are the rules when it comes to just not playing the game anymore? Because the game was yesterday, but Thursday I watched the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts play, and on a routine shot to the end zone, the defensive back looked like pass interference, but they didn't call anything. But my man the receiver goes down, the defensive back goes down. The receiver gets up, the defensive back is still laying there. If you look it up, you can find a clip from a fan in the stands. It shows that defensive back laying on the ground with his leg twisted sideways. They brought out an air cast. They got him off the field. Dude is done for the season. The game went on. You know, that to me is a more gruesome injury than a guy getting knocked out. Now, when you say that he could have been paralyzed, I had nothing to say to you on that. You are 100% correct. He could have been paralyzed, and until they said otherwise, I was not going to further my argument, and I wasn't going to pursue to further my argument. But I felt as though when I saw the play happen live and I saw the replay, I thought to myself, I've seen this play dozens of times in the NFL, dozens of times, and never have they stopped the game. You know, they take all the time they need to get that player off the field and give them a chance to come to, I guess you could say. But I've never seen them decide to stop the game on a player who gets knocked out. So going forward, you know, are we going to judge? Are we going to judge the NFL? Are we going to judge players? Are we going to judge coaches for continuing to play games because, hey, their player got knocked out and they still force their guys to go back out there and play? And I just feel like it's just going down a path for no reason, because if you listen to any NFL player, any college player, they'll tell you, you know, you listen to Hassanin, they'll tell you, hey, we're willing to die out there on the field if it means that we can go out there and be a part of the NFL. And then somebody goes out there and gets knocked out, and you don't stop the game. I mean, where do we draw the line at?
Yeah, man. But for one, the players can say they want to go out there and die on that field for the team anyway. We know they don't mean it literally, and I think that injury last night, it turned out to be him being knocked out. But in the moment, I don't think it was just the fact that he was knocked out. Like I said, I thought he was paralyzed. Dan Campbell said, we're glad he's even breathing, because apparently he wasn't breathing. So, like, just saying he was knocked out, I don't know about that one, man. Not in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody ever said that he wasn't breathing. Dan Campbell said that he is breathing, just to reassure everybody that he was alive.
Right. So, like, if the first thing you say is he's breathing, then there's a possibility he wasn't breathing.
No. He said that because the reaction to him getting knocked out was so over the top. I hate to say it, but it was just so over the top that anybody watching that game would anybody watching that game would have logically thought that man just died. The way that they reacted to that.
I think you're downplaying the seriousness of the moment, man. Yeah, like I said, looking at hindsight, it's fine to say, yeah, he just got knocked out. Looking at hindsight,
in the moment, I was telling you that I didn't see anything that called for what they were doing. I was telling you that in the moment, and I wasn't even there. I was watching it on TV.
You was the only one saying that, though.
I know, which is why my mind is so blown right now, because I'm like, am I the
Because, dog, yeah, you gotta be, because I don't understand how you ain't see what everybody else was seeing, dog.
He got knocked out. Bro, I've seen that dozens of times, players get knocked out on the field. You've seen it dozens of times. Anybody who watches the NFL has seen a play. Shit, Tua Tagovailoa has had that moment happen to him like 6 times in his career, and they never stopped the game, and he continues to go out there and play football.
Right, and like you said, I've seen it dozens of times, and never have I been like, ooh, yeah, that guy might not be okay. Most of the time when I see a guy get knocked out, I'm like, damn, that guy knocked out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just be like, that'd be the end of it.
Reaction last night. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's not what I got from this. That's not what I got from this last night.
Why? Why not?
It looked different, dog.
The only thing that looked different was that everybody, it just took so long. I don't know. That's the only thing that looked so different, was that it took so long and we didn't get the thumbs up. But like I said, it wasn't players crying on the side. That was the thing I was looking for. I was looking for players crying on the sideline, because like I said, when DeMar Hamlin happened, players was crying on the sideline and holding each other. And that looked different. This I didn't see that. Dan Campbell was talking and everybody was listening, and everybody took a knee. That's not that much different. That's like, oh, he not playing again if everybody taking a knee. But I just thought that the moment was just everybody just made that moment bigger than what it needed to be, and come to find out, it was bigger than it needed to be because the dude is in stable condition and he's doing fine. As far as reports I've heard. So stopping the game, and then that's my other thing, like stopping the game. Are you telling me that by stopping the game, we're not going to have any more head injuries in football tomorrow? Like, what is that? What is that going to do? I know the argument was the players.
What was playing the game? The players didn't want to play no more. Their homeboy got hurt.
That's what they kept saying
in the practice game.
So your last.
What was finishing the game going to do?
I'll answer your question. Your last point was that we didn't need to continue that game because we already saw everybody we needed to see. But you cannot tell me that Hendon Hooker. You cannot tell me that Hendon Hooker would not have benefited from going back out there. Now, would he have gone back out there? That's a different discussion. But
right, that's what he would. Right, but he wasn't going back out there, man.
But if you also told me before this game that they're going to stop the game because my man's going to get knocked out, I also would have told you that was out of the realm of possibility. I would have fought tooth and nail that there is no way that they're going to stop this game because the dude got knocked out. But that's what happened. So the same thing I can say for that, I can say that, hey, maybe they did put Hendon back out there.
I would never fight tooth and nail for a preseason game, dog. Shit, they even thinking about getting rid of some of the preseason games for an extra game and knocking off some of the preseason games, right, and adding the regular season game onto the things. The preseason games are only for exhibition of rookies. That's all we want to see is the rookies play.
Exactly. And we over here talking about player health and safety, but like you said, they talking about adding another game. So it's that's my whole thing. This is all BS. And then as far as Hooker, okay, fine. Hooker doesn't go back out there. That's fine. You can't tell me what all I hear about preseason during every broadcast. Hey, he's not just auditioning for his team; he's auditioning for 31 other teams around the league. So you telling me that you put a special teams guy out there and he breaks a touchdown run, a kick return, and then he gets cut by the Lions? Hey, 31 other teams just saw this dude take it back to the house, and we need help on special teams. We need a returner. Hey, whatever. So it's obviously in the fourth quarter of a preseason game, we don't care, but it's an opportunity.
Don't care at all.
We don't care, but it's an opportunity for those players that aren't going to make the team to put something on tape to get signed by another team. That's indisputable.
Like I said, man, if it was a regular season game, I'd be there with you. There's no reason to stop a regular season game at that point, but a player's health over the end of an exhibition game, I'm not fighting for that. You lost me. I put down my riot stick and my postcards. That's where I get off the bus. Like
I'm sure
I'm Cuba Gooding Jr. and Boys in the Hood, man. Let me out, man. Let me out.
Detroit.